What happens when a highly anticipated game utterly fails? Modern Warfare 2, yes. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about Medal of Honor Rising Sun for the PS2. Also available on Xbox and Gamecube, and those versions are supposedly better, but I've never played them, so I couldn't tell you firsthand. Now, to accurately show you my thoughts of this game, let's go back in history just for a little bit to show you the history of Medal of Honor. 1999. You get Medal of Honor, the first one, and you're like, oh, this game is awesome. A year later, in 2000, you get Medal of Honor Underground, and you're like, oh, this game is awesome too. 2 years later, you get Medal of Honor Frontline, and you're like, this is the best freaking game I've ever played. What could they possibly make after this to top this, you wonder? Which brings us to Rising Sun. Made a year after Medal of Honor Frontline, you could tell that it's obviously been rushed, and it shows in the gameplay. You have to give EA credit for trying something different here, since every other single World War II first-person shooter has been set in Europe and never in the Pacific theater. So they tried something different, but it honestly did not work out the way it was intended to.
We need you in active service. Immediately.
Aside from the change in venue, the plot of Medal of Honor Rising Sun is pretty much the same as any other one. You're a soldier, then the OSS gets a hold of you, and they make you do super secret missions in enemy territory and stuff like that. It's nothing we haven't seen before, but it's Medal of Honor, and that's what Medal of Honor does. Everything in Medal of Honor Rising Sun feels like it could have used refinement. Like, they had a good idea on their hands, they had a great idea on their hands, but they didn't put enough time into it, and they didn't pull it off as well as they could have, which makes for this poor excuse of a game.
Down the path to the left and set up overlooking the plantation. So let's keep an idle flank up to the right.
Medal of Honor Rising Sun does have that same diversity that I think makes the Medal of Honor series so good, but it just doesn't have that same charm that the other games had before it. A perfect example of the diversity in this game is the Singapore Sling level, where you have to steal a German officer's uniform so you can get into a top-secret Axis meeting. The AI in this game, both enemy and friendly, are as bad as you can expect. In this particular scene right here, my guy here wouldn't even shoot them until they got within 2 feet of him. Something in this game that was new to the world and worthy of note was the use of charges. The enemies in this game will actually try and charge you with swords and bayonets, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's not really that effective, though. The Singapore Sling mission to me is probably the most interesting because it's not the same old jungle backgrounds that all look the same. It's actually something different.
Enjoy your stay. And replace him with a man whose vision of the future is unclouded. Their representative has joined us. Imposter! What is this? That's my uniform!
And in true Medal of Honor style, things go awry and you have to shoot your way out of the hotel. People falling out of planes is funny. So to sum up this game, it was a very good plan that just wasn't taken out well in the execution. It could have used a lot more time on it, and it could have been a very good game, but it just didn't happen. This was really the point in the Medal of Honor series where the game started to go downhill. And as far as this game goes, maybe rent it. If you're a die-hard Medal of Honor fan like I am, and even I really don't like this game, then maybe you'd want to buy it, but it's interesting, it's different, they tried something different, it didn't work, and that's the game. Medal of Honor Rising Sun for the PS2. It could have been better, but it didn't. Thanks a lot, EA. Oh, one last thing, this game does have pretty fun 4-player local co-op multiplayer, which was really fun back in the day to get your friends over and play that, but I forgot to record that for this review, so whoops. Oh well, sorry about that.